Shanty, are you living your best life? Oh, you're gonna act like I caught you? You didn't do anything? All right, so welcome back to Granite Gardens. This one's probably gonna be a little bit on me. Melissa is cleaning out the greenhouse. We're about to crunch time. Our weather right now is in the low 40s at night. So I've got a few things I'll show you about what I have to do to overwinter some of my stuff. She'll probably just be in the background.
And I'll show you an update on the greenhouse once it's done.
Looking all pretty. I have to be in the greenhouse right now because it's also whipping with the wind outside. So I am gonna dig up some of the last banana babies that are big enough to be saved. The rest will be overwintered with their main mommies outside. Some of these will go inside. I'm gonna show you the plans on all the bananas. And then I also had to take care of the cannas and the elephant ears. So here we go. It might be a little loud, but if we have to voice over, we'll voice over. All right, so as you can see, our banana is well taller than me. We've got this guy right here. He is well over a foot, but guys like this guy right here, that guy over there is okay. Anything over a foot we can save. Anything smaller than that will set into shock because it hasn't developed a good enough root system yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig these up. I'll show you how to separate them safely, and we'll put them in pots and bring them in. All right, so first off, we're just gonna get some of this mulch out of the way. You can already see some of the roots from this guy. Get out of here, leaf. Some of the roots from this guy. We wanna save as much of that as we possibly can, with also not harming this big fella right here. So I just took our trusty hori, made a little half moon around here, which is where its main roots are gonna be. The next step is gonna actually take the hori and come down between the mother plant and the baby plant, because that's where the main root that's gonna be connecting it to its mom. We're gonna cut that and make sure we do it right, which is just gonna be a clean cut all the way through, and it's obviously got enough roots that we should be okay. So I'm not 100% sure why, and I'll show you, but none of the babies, even though some of them were about 2.5 feet tall, not a single one of them have roots. And I don't know if it's because the roots were way lower, but their attachment to the mother was also at least a foot down, which is a lot more drastic than it has been in the past. So I'll put these in the dirt, but more than likely they're not gonna make it, especially at this size with no root system attached. I think we might have lost these guys, but we've got more. All right, so we're back out here. A foot tall is what they say when you can pick them, but I think their system was way deeper than I expected, so all we got was the tail end of the connection to the mom. And it's the same for all these guys. Tell me that this isn't taller than a foot, but his root system was just not there unless it was well down under almost a foot or more of dirt. So I'm gonna put these in dirt and hope for the best, but at this late in the season, they're gonna lose a lot of moisture out that bottom. And without the roots, they're not gonna be able to pull much in. So these might actually live for maybe 2-3 weeks tops, but then they're gonna start to brown and go dead. So we're gonna give them a shot, see what happens, but for the most part, that's it. So the next thing I'm gonna show you with this tropical garden, because most of this stuff is all not hardy 100% to this zone. I'm gonna show you these cannas that are right behind me. I'm gonna chop them all down, and then we'll actually let them sit for a couple days, probably till next week. Let them push all their nutrients back into the tubers underground, and then we'll end up actually digging half these up. The other half we're actually gonna leave out to see if they'll overwinter, because they have been well established. Some of these guys behind me are at least 4 feet tall. So we'll let them go, see if they are hardy enough to handle it. And if not, we always have the backup of the other half. All right, so that's it. Just down to the stumps. We'll let them sit, dry out a bit. They'll send all the leftover nutrients that were in the plant, whatever's left in the stem, back down to the tuber, and that'll help get them a little bit more hardy for their overwintering inside. So we went ahead and cut down all the cannas so they can start reserving some of their nutrients down in the tubers. But I'll show you it. It's looking pretty bare at this point. No more cannas, just elephant ears, bananas, and elderberries. All the other bulbs that are in there are hardy, so they can stay. I'll have to stake up the other elderberry pretty good because it is flying in the wind. So that is it for this part of the video. This is today's work. We are gonna abandon those bananas just because no roots. Too late in the season, they're not gonna come back. So I actually left the other big one with the mommy, and we're gonna protect them both, but we are still about a week away from needing to do that, which will be a whole nother process, but I'll show you that too. We are actually gonna protect those two bananas toward us, the ones that will actually make bananas. We're gonna make a big old cylinder and pack it full of some dry material. That way we can insulate it over the winter. There's one main reason why we're gonna do this, and that's because we wanna save as much of that stem as possible, because that'll give us a huge jump start on next year to hopefully, cross our fingers, get real bananas next year. The other banana you might have seen that's up in the front in the middle on its own, that is just a regular ornamental banana. So that guy will come back. We'll actually cut him down at the stem once we get closer to the frost date, just at the same time that we will insulate the other two larger ones. Hey babe, how cool would it be if we grow bananas next year?
Freaking awesome, let's do it.
Is it worth the 2 giant tubes that are gonna be in the front yard?
I don't know yet.
So just another quick run around. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite things that are still going this year, and they're all part of the overwinter and what we're gonna do with them. But first up is actually right in front of me. So our friend Michelle actually gave us this bad boy, and it is actually a dragon fruit. Melissa, what did you find in here that you thought was a dragon fruit?
I didn't know, okay? I didn't know. There was a nut, a black walnut in here, but like it was laying right next to it, so I was like, I don't know, is it? I don't know. I don't know what a dragon fruit really looks like. I don't know.
So I walk over here, and Melissa's like, oh, babe, what is this right here? And I'm like, it's a dragon fruit. She's like, do you know what a dragon fruit looks like? And I'm like, yeah, I've seen it before. She hands me a black walnut, and she's like, is this a dragon fruit? I sniffed it. Nope, that's not a dragon fruit. Next up is this cool bad boy behind me. It is ginger plant. So I actually grew this from one tuber that, again, our friend Michelle gave us. It was organic, so we knew it was gonna not have the spray to keep it from budding like they normally do with potatoes in grocery stores. So I planted it, and this guy has done so well throughout the year. You can see him definitely growing new tubers. I am not ready to harvest this year, so what I'm actually gonna do is just bring it inside. Since our grow station for the most part inside is not gonna have plants for a while now, we're gonna just bring in a couple things. I think I'm the only one bringing anything in that's gonna be down there, and it's just gonna be this ginger plant. Keep it with a low amount of light, see if we can just keep it inching along through the winter, and then we'll actually bring it back out in the spring and let it keep going. I've heard you can overwinter them sometimes, but I'm not willing to take the risk this time, so we're just gonna let it go. And these are our other 2 banana plants from the ones that can actually grow bananas. These guys have made it through in the pots. We're actually gonna bring these 2 inside, keep them in the house in a decently lit area. I might change that pot because who wants a bucket in their yard or their front house? So these will be the ones that we bring in as the control group to try to overwinter inside by keeping alive. And this bad boy right here, this is my Hail Mary. I just planted him. He's the one that actually, when we first pulled him out, he had some kind of like boring insect that went straight through the middle and down. So I cut off the affected part and let him go, and I'll show you really quick. You can see he's still trying to push them leaves out, but he's late in the season at this point, but the fact that he's still growing with no leaves says good things. So check it out. You can see here where the top has died and dried, but the rest of the stem is nice and bright green, still definitely alive, and he has come from flat cut to grown this much, which obviously is very hard for him because this stuff is really dense and hard, so it's kind of cutting him off here. But I'm gonna put like a pile of mulch over this guy, and that is it. So this will be my actual control group to see if these guys can survive, and if this little dude can make it through the winter, then I know them big dudes out front can definitely make it. And it's hard to tell in the pictures from those banana trees out front, but at their base, they are easily 6 to 8 inches thick. They are massive. Also, you remember in that one video where we pulled all the peppers and we were like, hey, just throw them in the woods. We'll see what happens. They are still alive back here in the full shade. Not only are they alive, but they are still making peppies. Not a lot, but definitely the flowers that were on there all came to fruit. One thing I don't think people talk about enough in the homesteading community is triage. Sometimes, whether it be animals, plants, you know, your season's almost wrapping up for your hot weather crops. It's still got a few tomatoes on it, some green tomatoes, you know, but you want to plant fall crops, but you're going to sit and wait on those plants for them to ripen, and then you're going to plant your fall crops too late. You're not going to get much of a harvest, if any, and then you're left thinking, why did I do that? Now, two things. One, that's not exactly a bad thing to do once, because you can learn from it. Now, the other side of the fact is you wait, then you don't get to plant in time, and you don't get a harvest. But you always learn from everything that's bad. Same thing with the bananas today. Did I absolutely want this? Yes, those are my fallback plans. If the two in the pot didn't make it inside, and the two outside, it was too cold and killed them both off, now I'm left with nothing. But sometimes you just got to pick and choose your battles, do the best you can, and that's all that really matters. So don't be afraid to cut something down early to make sure you have enough time to do the second round of what you want. You know, always have a plan B. If possible, have a plan C. It doesn't hurt, but sometimes it does hurt to not do triage. Take it for what it's worth. You know, we're all sitting here, us especially, we started small. We started from one raised bed, then I built another one, then I built another one, then I fenced it in, then I put an in-ground bed of food for us, then we built a chicken coop. You know, just like our friends over at the Stivers said, I mean, you just start with a couple pots on a patio. That's homesteading. That's starting the journey. Are you going to do everything perfect? Nope. Does anybody? Nope. Do people who have been doing it for 20 or 30 years ever make mistakes? Absolutely. You could be doing this in 30 years yourself, thinking you're a pro, you never have anything go bad, and then all of a sudden one random thing happens and something goes bad. It happens. It's life. We're all living human experiences trying to make our way through it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to start small. Hey, if you got the oomph, don't be afraid to start big.